The Middle Ground is a Star Wars podcast hosted by Max Opasek and Kevin Isaacs. All the media that is discussed in the podcast is owned by Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company. The boys' opinions are, well, you guessed it, simply just their opinions. So please tune in, relax, and McClunky.
Yeah, no, it's a good machine. It'll get us through.
I can open it too.
Well, the audience won't be able to see that. But he's taking off the lid of his room-sized supercomputer. Yeah, dusting it off because he takes great care of it. No, I was kidding. That's what a dust cover's for. But so we are here on a Repair Bay episode of the Middle Ground podcast.
Oh, we're starting.
Yeah. No, that's why I led in with the computer thing. But no, you're good. You're good. Repair Bay episode. Today we're just going to be casual conversation about our favorite planets. Now, I know we've mentioned our favorite planets before, like one of our, like the favorite planet, but we haven't mentioned other ones that we've liked.
I mean, that's one of my favorite things is being able to get immersed into like a really good planet or environment or set or whatever. And for Star Wars, they use planets for that.
Yeah.
So
other than space, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but space is space.
Yeah.
Space looks the same no matter what show or movie it's in. So I get ships all kind of look similar. Like you can kind of squint and say, oh, this kind of looks like it's from Star Trek, or like the ship. The deck of the ship could be the deck of an Imperial cruiser.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But like with planets, it kind of gives creators the liberty to do whatever the fuck they want. Like, oh, do you want to make a sinkhole planet where everyone lives in giant sinkholes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just go crazy, do whatever type of cool environment you want, and then you can put set pieces and action things there as well.
They don't get super wacky, but they still, they have some really cool ideas, and that's why we wanted to talk about them today.
Yeah, it's one of the, like you said, one of the highlights of Star Wars is just the planets and variety types, and they go beyond just being, originally it was like, Earth environments, like, oh, here's a snow planet, here's like a swamp, here's like a
forest.
A forest, like a volcano. But then they sort of branch off because you can't just keep doing those things. You sort of make different, either different takes on them, like Starkiller Base is technically still like a snow planet, but it's got like different stuff than Hoth, and then there's stuff like Umbara, which is just like completely different, or like Felucia.
Yeah. You get like Tatooine, like probably the most iconic planet in Star Wars, I would say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just a desert.
It's a desert, yeah.
Like you can go, Arizona and film that.
Yeah.
But you can't go anywhere that looks like Felucia.
Exactly, yeah. You have to, yeah, there you go. So we're just going to give top 5 for you. Is your number 1 the one that you've already mentioned before?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I can't remember if I've changed it, because I remember having one as my favorite before, but now it's a different one.
Okay, so this is still going to be like a top 5. I've mentioned before that my favorite is Coruscant, and I don't want to just keep repeating myself of I love the architecture, the stories that are set there, the different levels, I like the culture, the life there and stuff. So I just came up with it's still a top 5, but just know that even though what my number 1 is on here, Coruscant is still my favorite planet overall.
Are you not going to talk about it that much?
I don't know if I really have anything new to say is the thing.
Okay, because then if you don't mind, I'll start with mine then.
Your favorite one?
No.
Okay, least favorite?
I don't. So I have a favorite, but I don't have them in any particular order.
Before you do that, can I just give some honorable mentions?
Oh yeah.
Because I combed through not just the movies but games and shows and stuff, just looking for the different planets. So just a few that were in a top 10 or top 20 that didn't make it. Just say Korriban, the Sith homeworld.
Yeah,
well, before the other one, Lothal, Nar Shaddaa, Manan, Dantooine, Sullust, Crate, Jakku, Exegol, Kashyyyk, which came close, and Ilum.
You know what else I like? Other planet I like?
What?
I didn't put down and you didn't mention, so I'll go ahead and just say it now.
Okay.
Is Kessel.
Kessel. Okay, that wasn't on there. Yeah, that's a cool planet.
I think Kessel's pretty cool.
I liked how, even though I don't like that arc in the Clone Wars.
No, I mean the arc.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The sisters.
Yeah.
They go into Kessel, but I expected it to look like it did in Solo and Rebels, but it's like this. It's like beautiful. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but it's like beautiful, and then it's like, oh, there's a whole nother side where they're mining the planet out and everything. It's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that is a really, really good. It reminds me of like in Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're mining that giant like.
Oh,
head.
I know what you're talking about. I know.
I don't remember what it's called either, but like
it's called Nowhere, but I don't know what it's the head of not a Sentinel. Something like that, Titan maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, so yeah, my list of favorite planets isn't in any particular order of what I like from like least to most, whatever. But my favorite is still my favorite.
Okay.
And I think at first I said it was Dagobah, but it's Naboo.
You've mentioned that, yeah. You've flip-flopped on those.
Yeah. So, because I just like them both so much.
Mm-hmm.
Dagobah is just a swamp.
Yeah.
But.
Well, there's interesting lore and stuff too. Mm-hmm. There, you got the Force Cave.
Well, yeah. So that's one of them on my list. I'll start with Dagobah.
Okay.
Then. Or do you have any more honorable mentions?
No, that was it. Go ahead.
But yeah, so Dagobah, used to as a kid when I saw Star Wars, because my dad showed it to me. I can't remember how young I was, but I barely remember it. That's how long ago it was. Dagobah used to scare me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially the part where they first get there, and R2 goes in the swamp.
Oh yeah.
And that thing eats him.
Yeah.
That used to scare the shit out of me, and I was like, I would never, ever want to go to this planet.
Mm-hmm.
But then with all the parts of Yoda and like them going through like the super congested swamp with like all the fog and like it's all whimsical and it's like well, the Force is strong here. Why?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just is. And I love that. There's just like you got a strong connection to the Force on this planet. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that too. They even expanded on that in Clone Wars when he went there and Qui-Gon was like leading him into the cave and he got that vision of the clones turning on the Jedi and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I also like how the prequels sort of gave Dagobah a little bit more meaning as to why Yoda was there, because before it was just Yoda was living on that planet. Now it's like, well, he was exiled there. It's self-imposed exile, and it wasn't like by choice. He's just sort of living in this dump. I also don't know if it's canon anymore, but the reason Yoda chose that planet is because it was like brimming with dark side energy, so he wouldn't be able to be found there. I'd be like, oh, Yoda's not on Dagobah.
I guess that makes sense in because they go in that cave.
The cave, yeah.
The cave of wonders.
Yeah.
The cave of evil.
Yeah, I mean, it really is.
So every time someone goes in there, something evil happens. So
they have to confront some part of themselves.
Yeah.
I know there's a comic where Snoke takes Kylo Ren to that cave and makes him go in there, and Kylo has to like face Luke and then like face his like Han and Leia, and they're like we still love you and everything, and he's just like not having it. It was like before Force Awakens, so that was, I guess it would have to be considering what happened and everything. But yeah, that was I like Dagobah. I just don't love it as much as you do, I guess. I'm definitely not saying it's bad or anything.
Yeah, one of the metrics I use to put like planets on this list is would I personally go there? Like, so you would?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Stinky.
I'd bring some mosquito spray.
Yeah. Oof.
Maybe bring a Yoda with me. I mean, it would probably suck to go there, but I would love to go to Dagobah.
Yeah. I mean, there is significance there too.
I'm gonna go there for half a day. I bet. Yeah, I'll go there. I would never live there.
Yeah, but I mean, that is like where Luke trained initially to become a Jedi, and then he went back there. I mean, that's the place where Yoda died.
Yeah.
Where Luke found out Leia was his sister. So that is like a really significant planet.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, but is that so that you're not numbering them, right?
No, I'm not numbering them except for the Naboo, which I don't know how much I'll really get into it because I've talked about it before.
Yeah,
so.
I could maybe add some stuff, but mine are numbered and ordered, at least as much as I could, because I love all these planets. And spoiler alert, with the exception of the one I'm about to mention, I just realized these are all prequel worlds. Like,
wow.
4
Were
through...
introduced in the prequel worlds, or they're only in the prequels?
Like, these were... well, they're like in some, like, shows and stuff. Like, Rebels and Clone Wars. And as you'll see, like, they're not just in the prequels, but they are, more or less, if you look at it, it's like, oh yeah, that's in the prequels.
Yeah.
So number 5 is from a video game from the first Knights of the Old Republic. It is Terrace. It is the starting world. It is one of, like, you talk about wanting to live there. That is one. It's almost like one of my points on here is it's almost like Coruscant 2. It's like a big. I wouldn't say it's a city world. Maybe it is, but like when you're exploring everything, it's like this one like apartment complex at first, and you go out and there's like this like shops and stuff on the side, and you know there was like a battle with the Sith and the Jedi, and there's this guy who's got like soldiers and he's like trying to heal them, and there's like, oh, there's a droid salesman and maybe you can buy something from them, and it's like, oh, there's Sith guards walking around. So like the atmosphere is like, it feels real. It is like brimming with like just characters and characterizations. In fact, another thing I have on there is the people. Like the people you can meet and talk to, they feel real. And like there's like this random old drunk guy talking about how like the refugee aliens are like they're scum, they're idiots, because like on the lower levels. That's the thing, is like, you think Coruscant's lower levels are bad? This is horrible. There's like wild animals, and there's like this rat ghoul disease where it's like if you get bitten, you get turned into like this monster, and it's like these people have no protection down there from that stuff, and like no one's doing anything about it. But like the guys talking about like, oh, those refugees are like dicks because they're aliens and stuff like that, and there's like a group of people being like, dude, what are you yelling about? And you can talk to this guy and be like, either agree with him or be like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? But I just love that planet and everything that goes on there. There's like a whole like speeder bike, well, they call it swoop racing, but it's like speeder bike racing like scene down there too. Yeah. There's like 2 rival gangs. It just feels like a real place, and that's why I really like Terrace.
Terrace.
And I'm just not, because you haven't played that, and we're gonna play that on our channel.
Yeah, because I didn't even know the planet existed until now.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything more because I don't want to spoil anything. Mm-hmm. But it's a great starting planet. And honestly, some of the other planets that I didn't mention on this list, like Kashyyyk or Nar Shaddaa or Manan or Tatooine or Dantooine, one of the a big reason why I love those planets too is because you get to go there in that game. Mm-hmm. That game is just filled with realistic atmosphere. And it kind of feels cozy when you're on Terrace a little bit. Maybe that's why I like it so much.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to say on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well.
Sorry about that rant. I know you haven't really played. You don't know what that is, so you can't really contribute to it. But.
I hope I can soon. Because I remember playing them as a kid. Mm-hmm. Or I can't remember which one it was. But I remember the opening is where you're on a ship and you played as the droid instead.
That's the second one.
Yeah, that's the only one that I've played, and I never got past that part.
Oh, really?
I remember I saw the Sith in a cutscene, and then I think that's as far as I got. I don't remember why I stopped, but...
Well, you didn't get far.
Alright, well, that brings me to my next one, which is Coruscant.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Coruscant's not my favorite, but... I think because of Clone Wars, and as much as people don't like the Martez sisters, I like the area. I like how it's in lower level Coruscant. I like all the stuff we get to see. Mm-hmm. And I like just the whole setup of like the whole planet in general. How it's a giant city planet. That's cool, but it's even cooler that there's like, it's kind of like you can see an entire like economic system almost. Like,
yes.
You have like the Jedi Temple with the Senate up top, but literally right below it there's like poverty and like, murder and gangs, and it's like how are you like I think the character says it at some point, but it's like, oh, how are you gonna protect the rest of the galaxy if you can't even like
protect your home? Yeah, and that's like commentary on like the United States and everything, because that's like a real argument, is like you want to try and like, you know, I don't want to get political or anything, but just, you know, people say that, like, how can you try and help the real world or like, you know, the other countries and stuff if you can't help yourself, you know what I mean? But,
yeah, and I think that's a really, really good analogy for that, especially with especially with how good Coruscant looks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they intentionally have just like if you go to a planet, it'll just be that one race from that planet normally on that planet. You go to Coruscant, there's everybody.
Yes, yeah.
Everybody.
There's a large variety.
Yeah, so I think it's directly supposed to be like kind of hitting it on the head, like like, you know what this is.
Yeah.
You know what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
But even with that, like every time like you would go to the planet in like any movie or TV show, I'd be like, oh, this looks so good.
Yeah.
But on the other side, the video games, like they go to Coruscant.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you really can't miss with Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the first one that comes to mind is the Jedi Temple map in Battlefront 2, the original. Yeah. That was my favorite map for a long, long time.
Yeah, even the sort of bad Star Wars games, the Coruscant levels are still fun. I still like playing in those, like the Phantom Menace game or the Obi-Wan Xbox game. I guess another reason I just thought about this, that I like Coruscant so much, is that like in real life I have a fascination with cities, and just like maybe it's because we live in like a rural area, but every time I've gone to Chicago, it's just like looking up at the towers and everything just like amazes me, and just like the life everywhere, like each person, because you don't really think about that, you know, you sort of think about like your own life, but then you like look at just like this wall of people, everyone has something they're doing, they're living their life right now, and it's all congested in this big metal city, like all these towers, and like the architecture's different too, like on Coruscant.
Oh yeah.
Different levels and everything, but yeah, that's...
But you really get that sense of like, this is a city full of people.
A scale too, yeah.
Like, it's kind of like what people were saying Cyberpunk was going to be like. They should have just been like, well, we modeled it after Coruscant. That would have been all...
That would have been, it would have been fine. So that was your number... Well, you're not numbering them. That was another one. My number 4 is Camino. Another thing I have on here is architecture. So that's going to be like a theme through my next ones too, is I love the... I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Tapicoa. You know what I'm talking about? Like the city? It's called like Tapicoa City or Tapico City.
Yeah.
I love the way that looks. They're like these weird sort of like almost like upside down tops. Like they got like fun. So it's like a factory almost, which it kind of is, without like the smoke. But it's like this city just like sitting on like poles on top of like this huge flood of water, like this huge ocean. And then you go inside and everything's like blinding white, almost like a nursery, which, you know, again, is fitting. It's like bleached, you know what I mean?
A surgery room.
Yeah, it's very medical. And that's really cool. Everything, like the doors open up and like those weird like flower shapes. Everything just seems very surgical, almost like a hospital, like medical, which is cool. I love the Kaminoans, the long neck people. I was
gonna say they fit the environment very well.
Yes, yeah, like these weird. They almost look like surgeons themselves too. They talk very politely. They sit down on those weird chairs. And I just love the rain too. It's constantly... Well, there's one part where it's not raining. It's in the Clone Wars. But like, otherwise, just like I love the water. How like they got those creatures flying out in there. And I mean, significance is like... It's where the clones were born. Every time you see it, it's cool. And even though the clones are good, I guess you could take the... You know, they say like the weather tells the story. Like it's raining, it's lightning and everything. Technically, it's foreshadowing. It's foreboding for what the clones will become. You know,
True,
you could think about that. It's not like a good thing that they have an army, but also Jango Fett. Just want to say Jango Fett. But what is your next one? That's really all I have to say about Camino.
All right. So my next one is it was kind of hard because I know I wanted to say it, but I found it was hard to find things to say about it. Specifically about the planet, because it's Geonosis.
Okay.
Geonosis is like a red rock canyon planet, and it's like, okay, I mean, nothing too crazy about that. But I love the fact that it is inhabited by Geonosians, and they are bugs.
Okay.
Like, they're like, it's related to another one of like on my list here. I won't say what it is yet, but it's like future. It's how do I explain it? they don't look like they'd be technologically advanced at all.
It's very
like they live in giant anthills and stuff.
It's almost like if the Ewoks were building stuff for the Empire.
Yeah, it's like the Ewoks were building like starfighters.
Yeah, it's like very untechnological people being able to build stuff.
Yes, and like it's very unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these bug people are living in these giant, like, they look like anthills, I think.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, and like in like cliff size and all that. And then in episode 2, where you like actually go into the droid factory, and it's like this super tall, like just like assembly lines like going down like the tower, and like it's like just like a factory instead of like a rock canyon. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I always loved like how it looked, and like like having the technology and all that behind the scenes. But even the Geonosians, like, they expand on that a little bit in Rebels, I think. Is that where they find like the one Geonosian with the egg?
Yeah.
And it's like, and you see like is it Saw Gerrera's like,
yes,
we gotta kill the thing, and it's like,
yeah,
spat all over you.
You're
sorry.
good. You're good.
That was on purpose, actually.
Yeah. You're all good.
But it's like, oh, they even added the whole extra thing after the Empire when like, oh, they're making the Death Star. It's like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, yeah, and then when they were done, they massacred them. It's like, oh, oh, and then you know, with Clone Wars, they also added the Geonosian Queen and those parasites they can put in your ear, and it's like, what is going on with them? I want to know more about Geonosians too. Like, that's the other thing too, is like I feel like it's all underground and like in caves and all that. It's like there's probably some more stuff that we're missing out on.
Yeah. The reason I'm not saying much is because that is on my list and it is higher, so I'm gonna save my thoughts for that. So that's Max's thoughts on Geonosis. But yeah, no, I agree with every single thing you just said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna elaborate more on what you said though as we go up my list. It was all you had to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and the Battle of Geonosis.
Okay. Thanks for spoiling everything. No, I'm just kidding. I got more.
No, but it just.
Okay, so my number 3 and number 2 flip-flopped, and the more I'm looking at, the more I think like maybe 3 could be where 2 is. So I'm gonna say it in the order it is now, but just know that like after this I could be like, yeah, it'll flip. So number 3 is Mustafar. So this is like, they talk about Revenge of the Sith as like a huge part of my childhood. The amount of times I imagined I was on Mustafar as Anakin or Obi-Wan like fighting and playing is insane. And like all the toys, like the Lego set and like the Anakin Obi-Wan battle arena thing or whatever. So this is like a very special planet. And one of the things I have on here is just the battle. Just Vader going there, wiping out the Separatists and the whole thing with Padme and the confrontation with Obi-Wan. And like, it's a very, very significant battle. And the other thing I have on there is the lore of Mustafar, and like the fact that at one point it didn't look all lava like that. It was like thriving, and then there was like some stuff with like the inhabitants of Mustafar, and like they corrupted the planet and it turned it like super volcanic and like uninhabitable. And then just the fact that Anakin or Vader went back there after his defeat with Obi-Wan and built this like dark side Nexus castle, and
that
like
was Vader's castle, right?
Yeah, that's where that is and everything. And like the fact that he chose that planet because it caused him such, well, there's more than just this. I don't want to spoil the comics for you, but he chose that planet specifically because of like the call to the dark side, and like that was where he lost to Obi-Wan, and he like, in order to make himself like never forget and never lose that anger, he is gonna like put his castle on the spot. Like
on the spot.
That's not exactly where on the spot, but like
I want you to build the castle right here.
Like that is his greatest defeat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Palpatine wasn't like, I'm gonna send you the Mustafar. It's like, no, like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then even in Episode 9, they tried to tie it back, and that's why in episode like, there's like a VR Vader game where like you can heal Mustafar, and that's why in Episode 9 at the beginning, like it has trees and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that was Mustafar. There's like a video game to understand that, but
I was gonna say that so much happened in that.
Yeah,
movie
okay. We're not talking about episode 9, but this is gonna turn into a rant session.
Yeah, it would be here for a while.
But then I love like the design of like those energy collectors, and like they have like the little cab and everything. And
I was gonna say I like the all those how everything has like a shield under it.
Yeah,
to protect it from the lava.
And like the Mustafarians, I guess you would call them that, like collecting the lava and like using that for some sort of energy. And I don't know, I just like how it's in all the eras. It has some type of significance, like, you know, obviously with the prequels. Then in they even go there in Rebels, like they were gonna take Kanan there in the first season. They were gonna take him there to be interrogated.
That's right.
And then you know, like Vader's castle in Rogue One and everything in the comics, and then even in Episode 9, that's where Vader's Wayfinder was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's something in each of the trilogies for that, and I don't know, I just think it's a really cool planet with different, like, the lava is obviously really cool.
I was never crazy how it looked visually, but like lore wise and the significance of it, I really like it because of that reason.
Yeah.
So I agree.
All right, your pseudo number 2.
Pseudo number 2. I said I like it for very similar reasons. Like I like Geonosis.
Mm-hmm.
That's Kashyyyk.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
So, same thing with the Wookiees. I feel about the Geonosians. A little bit different though.
Mm-hmm.
I love forest planets. I love giant forest planets though, and the fact that the Wookiees live like kind of on top and around these giant trees. With the amount of technology they have is like, I think when I'm specifically referencing, like in my head when I think about Kashyyyk and like the Kashyyyk that I like, not the ones where they're slaves.
Oh yeah.
But is in episode 3 when there's the battle there at the end.
Yeah.
And like you see like the Wookiees have like their flying machines. They have literal spaceships, and it's like. You wouldn't expect them to.
Yeah, it's a bit more advanced.
Yeah, they seem just like they live in wood huts, but I don't know much about the lore as probably you do about Kashyyyk. I don't know how much there really is.
There's some neat stuff. The most of it comes from the second Aftermath book, which takes place after Episode 6, where Han and Chewie go there to rescue Wookiees that have been enslaved by the Empire, which is cool. The one thing I remember is that they said, like, the bulk of one of the trees would take, like, half a day to walk around. It was that massive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like the big tree. It's kind of cool.
I love that.
Yeah, no, I also like the, you know, I never thought about that, the integration with technology with the Wookiees. I remember they said that, like, that flying catamaran cat thing, whatever it was called, was modeled off the bugs. So it's like, it's like their own flying bug. So it's like they saw that creature and was like, okay, let's make our own.
Yeah, they're kind of like where we're at technologically.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we're basing these things off of these things because it works.
Yeah.
You know.
And then I also like how it's not just a forest planet. They have like a beach.
Yeah.
That's
the Kashyyyk Beach or whatever.
Yeah, something like, I can't pronounce that stuff.
No, I can't.
But that, and then when we play the first KOTOR, you go there at night, and there's this whole thing with, like, there's a Wookiee in your party, and he was exiled, and there's, like, a Wookiee that took over the clan, and you actually get to go to, like, the forest floor of Kashyyyk. It's really cool. There's some dark side stuff there, too. But, yeah, that's cool. I love Kashyyyk, yeah. I just didn't make it to my top 5.
I Kashyyyk is great. I was going to say something else. I lost it.
Was it about the Wookiees, or...?
Yeah, or no, don't you go to Kashyyyk at the end of Republic Commando, too?
You do. Yeah, it's the prelude to, what happens in Revenge of the Sith. You're like then there's a specific term, but like the first force that goes in to sort of like clear the way for everyone.
On Kashyyyk.
Yeah, and you find that out, and you're like, oh my god. Like, this was... Not that it was for nothing, but it's like, oh my god, we were pretty much just...
Yeah,
this was not what we were meant to do.
In a few hours, these characters I'm playing as might be a...
Not only... Well, there's some other stuff with Sev and all that, but there's that, and then in Force Unleashed, you gotta free the Wookiees, which was fun. They have, like, a skyhook you gotta take out. Yes, Kashyyyk's actually in a lot of stuff now that I'm thinking about it, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was, trying to push Wookiees into more stuff because, Chewie.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even then, it's such a great planet. Like, another time I imagine playing it is in the Lego Star Wars game.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite planet
Mm-hmm.
or favorite level in Lego Star Wars. Like growing up as a kid, just because it's such a cool forest level.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. I think you fight like a bunch of like walkers.
That was so annoying.
Yeah.
Whenever we play that, I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I hated that level.
That's like one of the burning memories I have from Lego Star Wars is killing the walkers.
That section of the level, I should say. I liked the level, but just that part. Because it was... you couldn't do anything.
Mm-mm.
I don't want to go on a rant about that, but you could not move, basically, at parts. If you were looking for the mini kits or, like, trying to build or, like, use the Force or something, they would just be shooting at you. And you really... They kept backing up, and you couldn't...
Yeah.
But whatever. So that's your pseudo number two. My number two that could be flip-flopped with Mustafar is Utapau.
Utapau.
So that's the sinkhole planet from Revenge of the Sith. I love the idea that this planet is kind of barren on the surface, but then they live in these holes in the ground, like these sinkholes, but they don't live like at the bottom. They live like around the rim, and they like dug tunnels through everything, which is like super neat.
Oh yeah.
Like I love that, and I love the Paoons and their like their culture and their architecture. Everything almost looks like bones, like dinosaur bones, kind of like the landing pads and everything. And they look cool too. I mean, the Grand Inquisitor is a Utapauan or Paoon or whatever.
Favorite one.
Yeah, he looks like his the jagged teeth and everything, and they got like even from like the three people Obi-Wan meets, like the Paoon advisors, you could tell that they got like some type of government system, and like they're just like this cool culture and architecture and everything. And like you get to see a lot of it. There's a deleted Clone Wars arc where they're on Utapau, and you get to go in like the base level like catacombs, and like Grievous is chasing them. There's like these weird slime monsters and stuff. And I love the Revenge of the Sith game too. When you're Obi-Wan and the clones turn on you, you got to run through Utapau and get to Grievous's ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Battle of Utapau, I love, where Obi-Wan's riding the lizard thing, and then he jumps down, and he's like, hello there, and then he fights Grievous, and then the troops come in, and then Grievous has got his wheel bike, and then like through that chase, you can see like the different like what a highway is there when they're like fighting and everything, and then they get to like that little landing pad into like another sinkhole, and you get to see the bottom and everything. And
yeah, that's another weird thing about it is like that they're pretty high society. Like you can tell, like you said, from the people he meets, like
they're very proper.
They're very proper. Like you can imagine, like they're probably like high like government officials or just high members of society. But like they ride those bird monster lizard things.
The Varactals. That's what they're called. I forgot.
Yeah, they look like they have like would live on Coruscant almost, but like
they
live in sinkholes and ride Varactals.
Yeah.
It's not misleading, but it's a nice little contrast, I think.
Yeah. There's just a lot to like love about it, and I also like, I'm not sure how, but they have like that separatist like pod like into the wall where like the separatists are hiding out.
Yes.
Which was kind of cool too. There's also a book called Force Collector where it's a kid who has Quinlan Voss's power of like you touch an object and you can feel the history. Like during the time of the sequels, and he like touches, oh god, what does he touch? I think he touches some object, I forget, and it leads him to go to Utapau, and you get to like, he's on like a lower level, and you get to like see like a salesman and like the culture more, which is always cool.
What happens to Utapau after Order 66?
Not much. I mean, there wasn't really anything, there. I guess they were always looking for Obi-Wan, but nothing really happened. I forgot what happened. I really liked that book, though. That was one of the better new Star Wars books. Alright, so I guess that's really all I have to say. I know it's not really, like, super in-depth. This isn't supposed to be, but I really like Utapau.
Yeah, I mean, our list could have just been planets that we liked
to
look at,
Yeah. Battlefront 2 is a very cool Utapau level. I just wanted to say that, too.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we were going off of, like, games that I liked, or planets that I liked from games, like, I would do Bespin, like
okay, yeah,
original Battlefront.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
that would be on there.
That's probably my honorable mention.
Well, with Bespin, would you say that's more the planet or Cloud City?
I mean, it would have to be Cloud City.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm imagining like it's kind of like Camino, where it's like.
Yeah, I guess I'd be a hypocrite too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Camino. All we know is
the city.
The
and,
one
like,
city.
They went underwater at one point when like the ship pieces crashed down in Clone Wars, but.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's your pseudo number one?
Naboo.
Oh, Naboo. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it just I don't remember how in depth with Naboo I've gotten before, but just everything about it.
Yeah,
like,
the culture and the architecture.
Yeah,
and...
I love how the planet has a water core.
Yeah.
And do the Gungans live in the core, or do they just live underwater?
They lived underwater. It was like beneath the lake or whatever.
Yeah, because they had to cross through the core.
Right.
That's right. Which I never even realized that they were crossing through the planet until I was older. I'm like, oh, they're going through it?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like how there's two different societies on it,
mm-hmm.
With two completely different like actual societies.
Yeah.
With the what are they called? Just Nabooans?
Nubians. Yeah, Nubian, because that's what Watto called the ship. He said it was a Nubian design.
Oh, ooh, I don't like that.
Nubian. I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, I with like the Nubians and the Gungans, I wish we could have seen more and not just
mm-hmm.
Boss Nass hold up an orb and go dun 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 dun
dun. Well, it's featured in the Clone Wars a bit.
Yeah.
There's the whole Blue Shadow virus, and then the
yeah.
Grievous getting taken down by Gungans thing, which was whatever.
Yeah, Gungans, I feel like they've been done dirty. Like, they have that whole underwater city. They have like the electric grenade things. They have like weird animals with like those shield generators, but they just make them stupid goofy.
It's the voice.
Even the more serious characters like Captain Tarpals, he's a serious character, but you can't take him seriously.
He's saying Yusa de Buma, like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, we're gonna go take down General Grievous. It's like, that's normally you would want tension.
We're gonna take down General Grievous. Like,
no. We're gonna throw our bombs at him. It's like, okay. But do you like Naboo?
Yeah, no, I like Naboo. It's just not one of my. I didn't put it on my top thing or whatever. I don't know. I think it's cool. I like the architecture. I guess if there would be a planet that I would want to live on, I guess other than Coruscant, that might be one of them.
You live on Coruscant?
Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be cool. No,
I feel like I just
drive around all day.
I get
Oh, I'd live in the industrial sector where Darth Sidious lives, like where it's all red. Everything's red.
That's the red side of the planet.
Yeah. No, I like it. I'd just be repeating everything you said, about the Gungans and everything. Yeah. I maybe kind of wish they would have integrated the Gungans more with the Naboo people after the.
Yeah, that too.
The Attack of the Clones, that might have been, or Phantom Menace, that might have been kind of cool, but I don't know, I like Padme's little house, I like the waterfall area. Everything's just very calming and nice. I just, I like the Battle of Naboo. That might raise it up a bit.
True.
They're fighting those big open fields, and there's like the tight corridors of the palace. It's kind of neat. Yeah, I don't really have too much to add.
Yeah, no problem. What's your favorite? I
mean, other than Coruscant, my favorite one. Can you take a guess?
Geonosis?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I think that might be my favorite one because I love like the Geonosians. Like even though Pago the Lesser talks like a burping, farting idiot,
I love
still
it.
Like it. like he's all right, but no, I just love the idea that they're like you said, like they're technologically advanced, yet they're like building, like their architecture looks like termite mounds, and they're like building that. But it makes sense that they could also build droids underneath like their surface in the factory.
They literally like they're so advanced they built the Death Star. Like,
yeah, like the catacomb. Yeah, they designed it. Yeah, like the catacombs look like so neat and everything. And like their architecture and like their society, like they have like a big open gladiatorial arena. It's like, well, who else has fought there and like died? Like they captured these creatures and like brought them in.
I mean, I'm sure they just like. How do they go off planet just to like find things to bring to the arena?
I'm sure Poggle the Lesser probably like shipped them in somehow.
Even that is like, I'm glad they're not just like one note like bugs where like we build robots and that's it. It's like they want to
fly. They got those cool guns.
Oh.
Yeah. I love that. I love like the integration into the other eras, so not just the prequels, but also like you said in Rebels, like they built the Death Star above Geonosis and then they're gone, and it's like, well, they left these construction units here, what's that? And then they get down there and it's like there's one Geonosian left. It's like, what happened? It's like, I don't think they explained it in the show. No, because they never found out what the Death Star was. But like, like once they realized that the Death Star needed to be moved and the construction was done, it's like, all right, well, we have like 10 million liabilities walking around on this planet. Yeah, time to gas them. It's like, geez. And then you find out that in a Vader comic, I think that egg he had, what was his name? The little Geonosian, Zat or something, like some noise or a click clack. That was it. Yeah,
click clack.
He had I think that egg he had turned into a queen, and Vader went there after A New Hope because he needed to like use the droid factory or something. I forget. It's been so long, but he killed her too.
Oh,
like
really?
That queen, yeah. So I think they're all gone now. Like they are officially wiped out. Yeah, I love that planet, and like when they go there a second time. Like the first, okay, I'm talking about the Battle of Geonosis last, but when they go there a second time to fight, it is insane.
Isn't that in Clone, like the landing of Point Rain?
Landing at Point Rain, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like 3-pronged attack, and the Geonosians are like hunkered down trying to get everything. That's cool. Like you said, the Geonosian zombies are cool. And I normally don't like desert planets, mainly because like in video games, I don't like desert or like movies. It just feels like so hot and tired. Like I don't really like the first Cars movie like insanely much because it takes place in like this dry desert and you're just sort of like, ugh. It just feels boring to me. But the fact that I love this so much, you know, it's basically like this huge desert with like rocks and architecture, like it says a lot. Also like the video games, like Attack of the Clones, like you get to play the Battle of Geonosis in like 5 or 6 video games from different perspectives too. Like you could do like the space battle, you could be in Republic Commando, like you go into the arena after everything. And then, you know, like obviously Lego Star Wars, and there's a couple of games where you actually have to like fight like as Mace Windu and stuff in the battle, which is cool. And I mean, it is one of the most significant battles in Star Wars. It is the beginning of the Clone Wars, the beginning of the end of everything. And it is one hell of a battle. I know I've talked about it, but I love how it starts out small, it keeps building and building until you get to the outside. It's just chaos. You got all this, like, it feels like, we talked about this last time, it feels like a grand scale war between two armies just butting heads.
And you don't really see much of that, like, in the original trilogy, because, I mean, you know, you have constraints back then.
Yeah.
But, you know,
And it wouldn't make sense either for a rebel army to match the power they're fighting. Like,
so I do like how we see, like, what if it was like a giant full-scale war in Star Wars? And I think they handled it pretty well. I mean, like, because they have, like, a war isn't fought on one planet.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it started on Geonosis, and that was the best one.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I just like how it's a separatist hub, too.
Yeah.
And I like how, you know, maybe that's a part of it, too, is, like, it's Obi-Wan, part of Obi-Wan's, like, his discovery. Like, he goes down there and he sees, like, because if you're watching The Phantom Menace, you remember those core ships, you see, like, a whole bunch of them hunkered down everywhere where Jango Fett's landing. He's like, all right, what's going on here? Like, what is all this? And then you see, like, the factory, it's like, oh, they are preparing for war. There's that. And I think it's the first Star Wars planet to actually have a ring. Like an asteroid field, too.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
I can't think of any off the top of my
I can think
head.
of a couple cents, but, like, nothing after that. But, yeah, everything about it I think is great. Which was a realization. I didn't think it would be that high.
Yeah.
But I really love Geonosis.
Yeah, and they spend a lot more time on there than I originally thought. Like, I mean, if you count the Jango Fett chasing Obi-Wan through space with the sonic explosion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you count that all the way up to the Battle of Geonosis, that's a big chunk of the movie.
Yeah.
With just around Geonosis.
Mm-hmm.
You could even say, aside from Coruscant, it's probably like the centerpiece. Like kind of the movie.
Of the movie, yeah.
Not including Naboo, but that was more like Phantom Menace.
Yeah, no, I get that. So, yeah, I guess that's the planets that we love. Again, I had to cut a lot. Maybe we'll make another one of, like, 5 more planets we love or something like that. But
yeah, well, there's so many planets is the thing. Like, I was thinking, like honorable mentions. Like, I could probably put, like, 15 honorable mentions. Like, Lothal. I think Lothal is really cool. Like, the giant grassy fields. Or
they got the Jedi temples there.
Yeah. Like, you gotta lift it up with the Force. What's another cool one that I like?
I mean, I had Exegol on here, Crate, Jakku. Like, I like the sequel planets.
Yeah.
Dakar, you didn't really see that much. That one's got an asteroid field. But, maybe we'll...
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll talk about it more. I mean, like I said, there's so many planets that we can make, hours and hours long of a video just talking about them. So.
Yeah. But I think that'll do it for us right now.
Yeah.
We are now officially on iTunes and Spotify, as well as just YouTube.
Yeah.
So you can listen to us on those platforms. We also have a Twitch stream, which we are going to be streaming more now on. Or, did I say that right? More? On more now? On more now. Yeah. Get those mixed up.
Too.
Yeah, on more now. So we're going to be playing through all the Star Wars games. We're going to start with, like, Battlefront 2, though. Like, multiplayer stuff first.
Yeah.
It'd be more fun. And then, we also on Instagram. I forgot about Instagram.
That's true.
Yeah, I try to post on there as much as I can. I forgot, though. I posted a video, just to go on a side tangent. I posted a video, and I was going to post one today. And I was like, well, actually, how long has it been? It was like 6 days. I was like, oh, my God. Like, I thought I just posted it. So, yeah, I'm a bit crazy with that, but we'll get better at that.
Yeah.
And I think... Is that everything? Is that everything we're doing?
Yeah, I mean, we've already mentioned on Apple and Spotify, and those are kind of the biggest ones, I think.
Yeah.
That's happened, so.
Those are the main ones.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right.
All right. Well, I think your opinions were great and not trash.
I think yours were trash. You should have put Starkiller Base as number 1 because it's technically a planet.